Ever get that feeling that you've just got too many running shoes and you can't decide which one to wear for today's session? If you do, then I have the video for you. Today I'm going to be talking about do-it-all shoes, that footwear within our running shoe rotation that we can pull out and it will work for pretty much any session. What are my most versatile running shoes right now? Hey cats, thanks for joining me. It's always appreciated. My name's Ed Shoehorn Bud. Oh, it's not, but it sounds good. Help the channel out if you haven't done so already by hitting that subscribe button and clicking the bell below for notifications. And don't forget, you can become an EDDBUD Running Shoe Reviews member. Hit that join button on the channel page. There are 3 different tiers with lots of different perks, so you can interact more with both myself and you guys. You know me cats, I love a versatile running shoe. One that has the cushion for the easier efforts, but disappears at pace. It's got grip for every eventuality. So what are my current most versatile running shoes? One that really stands out for me and leaps across different categories is the Endorphin Speed 2 from Saucony. I think it's something to do with the midsole height here in the heel and the forefoot. That drop is just perfect for almost anything. You can race in it, you can train in it, it just does it all. And it's super light and nimble. I think Saucony got it just right here with their Power Run PB foam, sort of mashed up bits of P-backs. In fairness, it does look like something that a fridge freezer would come in, but we'll let them off. I think the super light nature of the shoe makes it one that you can grab regardless of the intended session's pace. I think it feels good up to about my 5k pace really. That's about 6 minutes 20 seconds per mile, which is 3 minutes 56 per kilometre. But also if I pull the speed back to something like 8 minutes 20 seconds per mile, or which is about 5 minutes 10 seconds per kilometre. So it's such a lovely range there. It's a bit like a Technics turntable with the pitch on it. Goes +8 or -8%. That's what this shoe is, a record player. There's not an awful lot of shoes that are really capable of that. Some feel great at pace, some feel great when you just run a hell of a lot slower. This one can do it all. It's Ajax, that's what it is. The Dutch international football team, you know, where they could all play in any position. That's what the Endorphin Speed 2 is to me. This video has already taken a somewhat strange turn. I wonder what's going to happen next. I really need to lay off the custard creams. I think part of the magic of this shoe is down to that nylon plate that Saucony have embedded into the midsole. The upper's substantial enough that you can use it in winter months when it's a bit cooler, but it's also not that thick that you can't use it in the summer. The outsole grip there is pretty decent. Even on loose surfaces, there's enough there to dig into the floor, like some sort of Alan Titchmarsh. So definitely worth a spot on my most versatile list of the current running shoe rotation. Training and racing, oh yes. Next up we have one from Nike, something that's a little bit overlooked I suppose, the Rival Fly 3. My word, it's bright, isn't it? It's kind of like an alien artifact that's been left on Earth. It's just that bright. I'm pretty sure I can run my boiler off this. Light, nimble and ideal for this list really. It's kind of like a cut down version of the Pegasus 38. Similar airbag position here in the midfoot. It's like they've taken a hacksaw to it and cut off all the bits that you don't need. And also lowered the midsole stack a little bit. And we're back to Cushlon rather than React, so actually it's not really that close, is it? A big boon though, if you've got a wider foot, the Rival Fly 3 could do a good job for you. It's just a little bit more room here. I don't know why Nike don't do it on a few more of their running shoes. People always complain to me that Nike shoes are just too narrow for them. Well, maybe try the Rival Fly 3. I found it works pretty well at higher paces. If you're doing an interval session, for example, you've got to reach those faster paces and then drop it back for the recoveries. Perfect. Also great on a steady effort on the roads last night. Worked really well. 5 miles, about 8 minutes a mile. It felt like butter. Actually, it didn't feel like butter. It felt kind of like marmalade. It's like I was spreading marmalade with every stride. I'm really liking the upper actually. It just locks the foot in really well. Although there's enough padding here in the heel so it doesn't feel like a race shoe. I think if you don't get on with the Pegasus line at the moment, try the Rival Fly 3 out as your daily shoe. Now, I don't think that's what Nike intended of this shoe, but works for me. People have been asking for more Beast, so here is the Beast. How you doing, sweetheart? It is purring slightly. Whoa, easy. You have to go on a diet, beast. Oh my god. So similar midsole foam here to what we saw in the Pegasus 35 and 36. I think the air unit might put people off a little bit. It's quite pronounced, really. I really like it. It's kind of like landing on a trampoline. Or you know when you kick a football and you just catch it just right. It's a bit like that. I think a bit of a winning element though here on the Rival Fly 3 is in fact the outsole. Its ridges and layout there work really well. Look at those ridges. It's almost like a piece of vinyl. I think it just gives us a really cost-effective and very versatile Nike shoe, which you can't really say that about all of their daily releases right now, can you? Well under 300 grams in my UK size 11. Great value versatility for a low price. Now, I've got a bit of a surprise for you here. I know a few people have said I've been bashing the Invincible Run, but I've actually got a bit of a soft spot for it. Soft as ZOOMX. Yes, more costly at retail, but I see there's loads of pairs at the moment for just under 100 Earth credits. I think it's versatile enough for most use cases. A Triumph in traction with that shrunken waffle outsole. And a very forgiving yet light midsole. I mean, there's stacks of it here if that's what you're into. I found it quite resilient over time. It really didn't bottom out or compress too much. I think it gives a number of benefits as well if you're running at slower paces for those recoveries. Really does help you get out the door. I know my good buddy Tim Gross has mentioned that a few times. It's one of those shoes that he's put on, and even on days where he's not really felt like getting out there and getting some miles under his belt, that Invincible Run's helped him do that. Go and check out Tim's channel. You won't be disappointed. Tim does some fantastic tests between different shoes, and it's certainly a channel I watch all the time. I think it gives us a few of the benefits that we get from those race shoes that have ZOOMX, but in a more daily package. Whenever I think of those ZOOMX race shoes, I kind of think of that scene from Love Actually, where the chap's going to buy that necklace for the woman in the office, and Rowan Atkinson's character pops up and he says, "Do you want it gift wrapped?" He proceeds to put loads of ridiculous packaging around it, some petals and all that type of stuff. They often seem a little bit like that. No substance, all show. I think the upper's certainly plush enough on this one for recovery efforts, and maybe even those longer runs. Just watch your big toes, guys. Might be a little bit too bulky for some people for speed work though. I thought it was alright up to about 7 minutes 20 seconds per mile for me, but no more. It's just too much squash then. I felt a bit like that advert, Mr. Soft, you know, the world in which you live in is so strange. It was a bit like that. I also felt that if I ran at pace in the Invincible Run, that I was in a video for the Status Quo's Pictures of Matchstick Men. It's just a bit like a psychedelic feeling, I suppose. No idea what I mean by that, but I'll let you digest it and come up with your own conclusions. But I think the Invincible Run is worthy of a place on my versatile foursome. Last up is the Novablast 2 from Asics. I think it just does a lot of things very, very well. It just looks incredibly futuristic, this shoe, doesn't it? It's like something out of Cyberpunk, that video game that they put out when it was half finished. I am going to play that game at some point. It's got all the things I like in video games, but I just want it to be polished, like your finest cutlery. Flight foam blast in the midsole here, and boy is it squashy and compressive. But it has some rubbery resilience, and that's what you need in 2022. It lasts a ton of miles and the rest. I know Andy the Fod Runner up in the forests with the wild boars, he's put hundreds of miles into his pair and they're still rocking. They did lighten the upper in the Novablast 2, just a bit reduced from the first version, which was a little bit overdone, and I think the shoe's all the better for it. I'll tell you what, this is one of the best smelling shoes that I've got. There's something about it, it just really does produce a wondrous odour. Again, it just works across a range of different paces for me. Not right up there into my sort of 5k, 10k pace, but there's loads of different scenarios here that I could put on the Novablast 2 and it'll just work. Ideal when I want to go easy, about 8 minutes 30 per mile, or increase the pace to a more steady effort around 7 minutes 30 per mile. Just think it's got the right balance between comfort and cushion. Like the perfect sofa when you got an episode of the Book of Boba Fett to watch, and you sort of sit down, you've got your glass of ale, you've got your food, the sofa just sort of comes around you like that, like a hug from a Wookiee. Of course, Asics high abrasion rubber on the outsole here, which is just going to add many miles of enjoyment to your stay in the Novablast 2. I think as a do-it-all shoe, there are few that have higher scores in all areas than the Novablast 2. And it's got a reasonable price point too. What are your do-it-all masters of versatility? Let me and the runners know down in the comments. Musical interlude time. I really like it when an artist has a return to form, and that is the case with the new album from Miles Kane. It's called Change the Show. It's got a striking image of him. There's like a red background and he's there with his suit on. I was captivated with this first 2 tracks. Really different. The first one's called Tears Are Falling. Sounds like something from like a John Lennon album. Very pared down production. A little bit of echo on the vocal. Second track though, Don't Let It Get You Down. Oh, there's some fantastic guitar with vibrato on there. Springy like Zebedee. And some fantastic brass in there. I haven't been able to say that in a while. Never Get Tired of Dancing as well is another really different tune. It's so nice to see someone embracing these different tempos and different styles of tune. Miles Kane's really keeping it fresh on this one. It's like falling into a vat of satsumas. Change the Show is fantastic as well. It's just so fresh and different. Go and check it out, guys. I think you're going to enjoy this one. It's really made my day hearing this album. Thank you, Miles Kane. Check it out. New album, Change the Show. Righty-ho. It's time for me to go and eat some pizza and chill for a bit. It's been a busy day. In fact, every day is a busy day. If you haven't done so already, help the channel out by hitting that subscribe button, but also clicking the bell below for notifications of when I roll them out for you. And of course, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, like, and share it with your running buddies. My name's EDDBUD, and I'll be seeing you